One of the greatest challenges we face today isn't a lack of opportunity, a lack of time, or even a lack of resources. It's a lack of attention. We live in a world where distractions are constant: buzzing phones, endless notifications, news alerts, emails, social media feeds, and 100 other things fighting for our focus every single minute, and without even realizing it, we've trained ourselves to be everywhere except where we actually are. We might be sitting across the table from someone, but our mind is halfway across the world. We might be walking outside, but our head is buried in a screen. We might be in the middle of a conversation, but we're already thinking about what we're going to say next instead of actually hearing what's being said. The cost of that is bigger than we think, because when you're distracted, you're not just missing out on small details, you're missing out on life itself. Moments pass by without you truly experiencing them. Relationships weaken because they're not being nurtured with your full presence. Opportunities slip through your fingers because you're too busy looking somewhere else. And worst of all, life starts to feel like it's moving faster and faster, not because time has changed, but because you're not actually living in it. You're skimming the surface instead of diving in. We think multitasking is a skill to be proud of, but the truth is, it's costing us our ability to connect, to feel, to remember. You might believe you're getting more done by doing 10 things at once, but in reality, you're giving a fraction of yourself to each one, and none of them get the best of you. And over time, that fractioned living becomes normal. You stop realizing what it feels like to be fully immersed in something. There's a heaviness that comes with living distracted. You can feel it when your day ends and you realize you can barely remember what you did because you were half there for most of it. You can feel it in the way conversations lose their depth, in the way experiences blur together. It's like eating a meal without tasting it, listening to a song without hearing it, watching a sunset without seeing it. You're there, but you're not really there. What makes it even more dangerous is that distraction feels harmless in the moment. Checking your phone during dinner doesn't seem like a big deal. Thinking about work while your child tells you a story seems normal. But those moments add up, and every time we choose distraction over presence, we're quietly telling the people and the moments in front of us that they're not important enough for our full attention. Over time, that message gets received even if it's never spoken. The art of being present starts with recognizing what distraction is actually costing you. It's not just about missing the little things, it's about missing the only things, because life doesn't happen in the future or the past. It happens right now, in these moments that seem small, but are actually everything. And once they pass, you can't get them back. You can take pictures, you can record videos, but you can't step back into them and live them again. When you start to see how much you're losing to distraction, it changes the way you move through your days. You start catching yourself when your mind wanders, not with judgment, but with awareness. You start realizing that the conversation you're in deserves all of you, that the food you're eating is worth savoring, that the person sitting across from you is worth looking in the eye. And when you give those things your full attention, something incredible happens. Life slows down. It stops rushing past you, because you're finally moving with it instead of against it. Presence is more than just paying attention. It's giving yourself permission to be here, fully, without feeling like you should be somewhere else. It's choosing to put down the phone, to let go of the to-do list for a moment, to stop worrying about what's next, and to just live what's now. It's not always easy, but it's always worth it. Because here's the truth, no one looks back at their life wishing they had spent more time scrolling, more time worrying, more time thinking about what they had to do next. They look back and wish they had been there for the moments that mattered. They wish they had listened more deeply, laughed more fully, and noticed more often. And if you can start doing that now, you won't just remember more of your life, you'll actually live it. We live in a world that moves at a pace designed to keep us running. Every day feels like a race to the next thing, the next task, the next deadline, the next achievement. And in that rush, we start to forget that life isn't just about getting somewhere. It's about seeing what's already here. Slowing down isn't about being lazy. It's about being awake. It's about noticing the things that are already happening around you, the beauty that's quietly present but often invisible to a mind that's too busy to look. Think about it. How many times have you walked through the same street, sat in the same room, or talked to the same person, but barely remember it because you were somewhere else in your head? How many sunrises have you missed because you were too tired from chasing yesterday? How many laughs have you heard without really feeling the joy in them? That's what happens when life is lived on fast, forward. We pass through it instead of living in it. When you slow down, the details you've been ignoring start to come alive. You start to hear the texture in someone's voice, the way their words carry feelings they didn't say out loud. You start to see how sunlight hits a building differently at different times of day. You notice how your morning coffee smells before you take that first sip, how the breeze feels against your skin, how the quiet moments carry a peace you've been searching for everywhere else. The truth is, the most valuable things in life often whisper, they don't shout, and if you're moving too fast, you won't hear them. We've been conditioned to think that bigger, louder, and faster means better, that life's worth is measured in constant motion. But the richness of life comes from depth, not speed. The people who live deeply aren't the ones running the fastest. They're the ones who stop long enough to see what's in front of them. There's a certain kind of freedom that comes with slowing down. You start to release the pressure of having to be everywhere and do everything at once. You realize that nothing meaningful is lost when you pause. In fact, more is gained. You can give your mind space to breathe, your heart space to feel, and your soul space to notice. And in that space, the stress that felt like it was owning you begins to shrink. It's not about dropping every responsibility and running away to some quiet place, though sometimes that might sound nice. It's about carrying that quiet with you, even when life is loud. It's about finding stillness in the middle of your day, in the middle of conversations, in the middle of challenges. You can slow down while still moving forward. You can achieve without rushing. You can be productive without being frantic. Slowing down also makes your connections richer. People feel the difference when you give them your unhurried attention. They open up more when they sense you're not trying to get to the end of the conversation, just so you can move on to something else. They feel valued when you actually listen, when you respond not just to their words, but to the meaning behind them. And here's the thing. The moments you slow down for become the moments you carry with you. You remember the way someone smiled when you were really present with them. You remember the sound of rain on your window on a day you decided to sit and just listen. You remember the stories you heard when you weren't too busy to care. Those are the things that make a life feel full. We often think slowing down will make us fall behind. But maybe the truth is, rushing is what makes us miss out. You can't be behind in life if you're exactly where you are supposed to be here, in this moment. And if you live like that, you stop measuring your days by how much you did, and you start measuring them by how much you truly experienced. Slowing down isn't about changing the world around you. It's about changing the way you move through it. It's about being deliberate, not just in your actions, but in your attention. And when you do that, you'll see that life has been offering you more than you ever realized. It's just been waiting for you to notice, and when you finally do, you'll understand that sometimes the most powerful way to move forward is to pause.